Okay, so just to tell you, when we open any Abhidhamma book, so under this Thana, so when you open the first book, you will find this 24 Patthana under the Pacha Upadesana. So this is the short version because the whole Patthana, if we summarize, is a 24 Pachaya, right? Okay, so we will start Namo Tassa, then we'll recite together. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Okay. Hetu Pachayo Aramana Pachayo Adipati Pachayo Anantara Pachayo Samantara Pachayo Sahajata Pachayo Anyamanya Pachayo Nisaya Pachayo Upanisaya Pachayo Purejata Pachayo Pachajata Pachayo Asewana Pachayo Kama Pachayo Vipaka Pachayo Ahara Pachayo Indriya Pachayo Jana Pachayo Maga Pachayo Sampayuta Pachayo Vipayata Pachayo Ati Pachayo Nati Pachayo Vigata Pachayo Avigata Pachayo Ti. Okay, so like in Abhidhamma, we learn the roots. Those without roots are hetuka. So this root, hetu pacheya, object condition, like our six sense base and so on. We see the object. Patipati, predominance, anantara. So this happened in the thought process. Ananta samantara. Sajabara born together. Anyamaya, like when you help each other in a worldly life, we call anyamaya. When you depend on other people, or sometimes when we say in Abhidhamma, I consciousness depend on I base. Then this is a strong support, powerful dependence like the weather and so on. Something that born earlier, purejata. Born later, pachajata. Asevana means a repetition, something that we do daily. If we do things daily, so this will create a good karma. So asevana then lead to karma. Then karma lead to the result vipaka. So our food is called ahara. And then this our sense faculty and so on, indriya. Then jhana, maga, sampayuta, associate together, vipayuta, disassociate. Ati, there is, nati, absence, vigata, disappearance, non-disappearance. So if you want to learn some Buddhism or even as Abhidhamma, you start to memorize this. Okay, all these are very easy to memorize. Anybody chant this before? Any of you? Any of you have chant this before? Sister Sumitra Khan, you are quite senior here. Have you chanted this before?
Don't chant. Yes, that's true.
Sorry?
Sorry, there are fault with my laptop.
Yeah, yeah.
I have not chanted it before, but I
Okay.
only read, browse through.
Okay, okay. So you study before. Okay. All right. Okay, now another one is the pendant origination is quite long here. It's a is with the Avijja Pacha Sankhara. But it's good to read because sooner or later we will study this. Avijja Pacha Sankhara Sankhara Pacha Viyanam Vijnana Pacheya Nama Rupam Pacheya Salayatanam, Salayatanam Pacheya Patso, Pasa Pacheya Vedana, Vedana Pacheya Tanha, Tanha Pacheya Upadanam, Upadanam Pacheya Bhavo, Bhava Pachaya Jati. Jati Pachaya Jara Maranam Soka Parideva Dukha Domna Supayasa Sambhavati Evametasa Kevalasa Dukkha Kandasa Samudaya Hoti. Right? So this is this one. So we can invite one student to read. Sumitra, Sister Sumitra, you can read this one. Okay.
Okay, Saiji. Dependent on ignorance, activities arise. Dependent on activities, consciousness arise. Dependent on consciousness, mentality and materiality arise. Dependent on mentality and materiality, the six bases arise. Dependent on the six bases, contact arises. Dependent on contact, feeling arises. Dependent on feeling, craving arises. Dependent on craving, attachment arises. Dependent on attachment, existence arises. Dependent on existence, a new birth takes place. Dependent on birth, aging, death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, unhappiness, and despair come to be. Thus is the arising of this whole mess of suffering.
Okay, thank you. All right. Today before we study the Rahula, so we just get familiar with this so we can study this next week. So this is the we call it the Patiloma. It's like when Avijja cease and so on. Avijja Avijaya Deva Asesa Viraga Niroda Sankhara Nirodo Sankhara Niroda Vijnana Nirodo Vijnana Niroda Nama Rupa Nirodo Nama Rupa Niroda Salayatana Nirodo Salayatana Niroda Passa Nirodo Passa Niroda Vedana Nirodo Vedana Niroda Tanha Nirodo Tanha Niroda Upadana Nirodo Upadana Niroda Bhava Nirodo Bhava Niroda Jati Nirodo Jati Niroda Jara Maranam Soka Paridewa Dukkha Domana Supayasa Nirujanti Eva Metasa Kevalasa Dukkha Kandasa Nirodo Hoti. Okay, Brother Leonard, you can read the English. Let me adjust this one.
With the remainderless dispassion and cessation of ignorance, activities cease. With the cessation of activities, consciousness ceases. With the cessation of consciousness, mentality and materiality cease. With the cessation of mentality and materiality, the six sense bases cease. With the cessation of the six sense bases, contact ceases. With the cessation of contact, feeling ceases. With the cessation of feeling, craving ceases. With the cessation of craving, attachment ceases. With the cessation of attachment, the cause for a new existence ceases. With the cessation of the cause for a new existence, the possibility of rebirth ceases. With the cessation of birth, aging, death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, unhappiness, and despair cease. Thus, there is
This one, the cessation.
with the
Can you see?
cessation of six senses. Let me catch back the
Here,
sentence. Sorry.
this one.
Okay,
This
okay,
one.
sorry.
Thus, there is
Thus, there is
cessation.
the cessation of this whole mess of suffering. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So these are two that is necessary if you want to remember the dependent origination. We will study this next week. So today I just introduce you all the chanting. because sometimes it's good to learn other chanting, not repeat the same chanting, you know. Okay, now we go back to this basic Buddhism. So have I started it last week? No, right? Okay, maybe. I don't know because sometimes I prepare so many notes. I also don't know whether I teach it. Okay, so it's a interesting story because you can see the background of Buddha's life, and then the very nice picture you find on the internet about the interaction of him, the father, and then the mother, and then the young child, and then the Princess Rahula pointed the Buddha to the son, okay, pointed to her son, the father, the Buddha, when the father was going for alms round. Okay, now we will read. Wendy, you can start. Yes.
Okay, good evening. Prince Siddhartha and Princess Yashodhara had just one son. He was named by his grandfather, King Suddhodana, as Rahula. Because when Prince Siddhartha heard about the birth of his son, the first word he said was Rahu, which means obstacle or bondage. He knew it would be a bondage to leave his sons and look for the truth. But on the same day, Prince Siddhartha left his beloved wife and his baby son to seek the path to end suffering. Because of that, the first time Prince Rahula saw his father was when he was 7 years old. Princess Yasodhara pointed out the Buddha from the balcony of their palace and told her son to ask his father for his inheritance. When Rahula went to talk to the Buddha, he said, Lord, even your shadow is pleasing to me.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
from this story, thank you. From this story means he was called Rahula because Rahu means obstacle. Because when Prince Siddhartha, he had the wish at the time. He said, I want to go forth. Then suddenly the news from the palace came and they said, oh, okay. So say the son is born and he thought that the son is actually a fetters to him. Okay. Fetters means that he believed that the son will give obstruction. Yeah, because normally when a child born, so the parents will love the child so much, it's very difficult to let go. So you can say Prince Siddhartha very strong-minded. He want to really go forth, went forth on the day the son was born. And the purpose is to seek the path to end suffering, not because of selfish, no. Because a lot of people, when they read this story, they say he's very selfish. He was very selfish because he left the palace when the wife just given birth and the baby boy was just born on the same day. But the reason is he want to seek for enlightenment, not for himself, but for the whole world. Because when we read the Ratana Sutta, he said, why did the Buddha go forth? It's for his well-being, for the world well-being, and also for the sake of enlightenment. Actually, that means that he never see the son, and the son never see him until he was like, uh, the Rahula was age of 7. Okay, so 7. So he see the father, and then Yasodhara was very touched to see the ex-husband or the father of Rahula and pointed, that's your father. Go and ask for inheritance. You know. So Rahula was very young. He just go and see the father and say, even your sweater please me. Okay. Okay, Budikacho. Yeah, then from here. Yeah.
Then he followed his father back to the monastery. When Rahula asked for his inheritance, the Buddha started to think. He thought that Rahula wanted money and comfort, and he knew that those things only cause us suffering. So he decided to give Rahula the best gift in the world, the Dhamma. His first plan was to make little Rahula a novice, but King Suddhodana was really upset when he heard about this. When the Buddha left his family to look for the truth, It made the king very sad, and he couldn't bear the idea of Rahula leaving too. Then the king asked the Buddha to create a discipline rule where a boy could not become a novice, or if his parents did not want him to. The Buddha agreed. Rahula was only 7 when he became a novice, but he followed all the rules as he was very interested in the Dhamma. Each morning, he would get up and take a handful of sand, throwing it up in the air and say, "Today, may I receive from my teachers as much advice and instruction as these grains of sand."
Okay, thank you. Right. Now, then he followed the father because since his mother insists that he go and acknowledge the father. So then he asked inheritance because the Yasodhara princess say, you go and ask inheritance for your father. Then the Buddha say, of course, the Buddha, actually at that time, Buddha have nothing at all. But if Buddha going to give him some money or whatever, it's also impossible because the Buddha had no money. But all this he know that all these material things, okay, material things, you can use the word, better put the word material, okay, material things will only give suffering because material things will always change, subject to disappearance, being stolen by people, and so on. So the best one, the best gift is the Dhamma. Okay, so he asked Sariputra to make novice Rahula as a novice. Okay. Then the king Sudana was very, very upset because Rahula become a novice. This means that leave the palace. And then he will say, so that's why the king asked him to create discipline rule. If the parent not allowed, so the boy cannot become a novice. So that's one rules in the Vinaya rules. That's why nowadays people always have the idea that if you want to ordain, you need a parent's permission. That is if you are very young. Okay, if you are very young. So if you're already grown out, like age 18 above, you don't really need a parent's permission because you are considered as adult. But people still thought that you still need the parents' permission. Actually, no need if you're adult. Only when you're very young, because young is you're under the your legal guardian is parents, or your if no parents, maybe your uncle auntie who take care of you. But Rahula is even though he was very young, but he is actually very, very obedient. uh, he want to learn as much as possible from all the teachers. His teacher was Sariputra. He actually had many teachers, including the Buddha. So he said, may I receive as much as instruction, just like this grain of sense from the teacher. Okay, now we can see the Buddha also teach him personally. Okay, Suganda, yes.
The Buddha frequently gave advice to Rahula. This is recorded in the following sutta. When Rahula was 18 years old, the Buddha taught him another important lesson. Rahula thought that his body was very beautiful. At that time, both of them were seeking alms, and they looked very handsome. Rahula looked at his father. He thought that the Buddha looked very beautiful and that he himself looked like the Buddha. So the Buddha helped him understand that it was bad to think he was too beautiful and love himself too much, because his mind would have conceit and pride in his outer appearance. The Buddha read Rahula's mind and said that when we look in the mirror, we should think, this body is not mine. This body I am not. This is not my soul. The body is subject to change, aging, and death. The most important is inner cultivation, like wisdom, kindness, and compassion.
Okay. So we can see the Rahula from young, 7 years old, very obedient. He want to learn as much. But when age 18, because Rahula was the son of the Buddha and the son of Yasodhara. Both of these are very beautiful. So of course, he inherit the good qualities of the look. So he was actually very handsome also. So when he looked at the father who was in front, and then he was thinking, oh, the Buddha looks so nice, so beautiful. So he was also think that he looked at his own body. 18 years old is the most handsome time. Normally we say the girl's most beautiful is 16. The boy is around this 18. So he had conceit and pride over his outer appearance, his body and so on. So the Buddha know he, also the Buddha look at him. But when the Buddha turn back, the Buddha don't like us, don't turn our head like this. When the Buddha turn back, Buddha will move the whole body looking at the back. So Buddha will not like us only the head. Okay? So we call it the Buddha had this kind of, we call it elephant look. So when elephant want to look around, the elephant cannot turn the head. So elephant had to move the whole body. So the Buddha moved the whole body, look at Rahula and tell him that. So don't cling to the body. Think that the body is not I, not mine, this one. This means they don't have attachment to the body. And the body is subject to anicca, dukkha, anatta. And then most importantly is practice meditation, loving kindness, compassion. Okay? Tell Rahula don't have clinging attachment to his body. Okay. So we can continue. Sister Yo, yes.
Everybody liked Rahula because he was the Buddha's son and because he had a good character. Even though he was very young, he died before the Buddha died. His father said that he was one of the most important young monks because he followed the rules and was very disciplined. Other young monks looked at Rahula to know how they should act. Sutta. The Buddha gave advice to his son, Rahula, across several texts, most notably the Abhalatikarahulovada Sutta, MN 61. The Maharahulovada Sutta, MN 62, and the Rahulovada Sutta, SN 35.121. Key discourses to Rahula. Abhalatikarahulovada Sutta, MN 61, teaches truthfulness and self-reflection using a water, dipper, and a mirror when Rahula was a young boy. Maharahulovada Sutta, MN 62, focuses on mindfulness, meditation, and seeing the elements and aggregates as not self-given when Rahula was 18.
Okay, thank you. So
Thank you, Sayadaw.
Rahula is, thank you. Rahula is one of the, despite he was the Buddha's son, actually he was a very well disciplined young monk, when growing up, because he was very fortunate. Beside the Buddha, also received advice from Sariputra. So we can see several suttas, Ambalatika Rahula, Ovada. Now this word Ovada means admonishment. Admonition to Rahula. Okay, admonition to Rahula called Ovada. Then another one, Maha, is this sutta, it may be a little bit longer. This I call Maha Rahula Ovada. Ovada is advice or admonishment. So different sutta when preached differently, because when Rahula was young, the Buddha stressed on truthfulness. Okay, use water dipper and mirror when Rahula was young. But when he become big, like just now, 18 years old, so the Buddha teach him a lot of more difficult sutta about non-self. Because non-self, you cannot teach to the young people, young boy, because they don't understand about non-self. So when the mind is more matured and the parama is there, so the Buddha teach about aggregates and elements. So this means that when we are teaching when you are trying to share the Dhamma to people, look at their age, look at their mentality. For young people, you can teach simple Dhamma like truthfulness, 5 precepts. So when people become more mature, you can talk more about meditation and so on. Okay, now another one, Rahuvada Sutta on impermanence. Okay, so all these are different sutta here. Now, today we are looking at one sutta, Ambaratika, Tika Rahura Wada Sutta. So you can put one A here, Rahura. Okay, Owada, Rahula Owada Sutta. Instruction, or you can use the word advice also can, or if you want to use the admonishment. Last time we used the word to at the mango. Ambamala, okay, and mango stone. This is the translated by Tanisaro. This sutta is a little bit long. Now, where can we find all these sutta? You can find in the Majjhima Nikaya, Samyutta Nikaya, right? So we have the we have Tipitaka 3. Then you find the sutta, Majjhima Nikaya, the middle lane, Samyutta Nikaya, connected discord. All these you can find. If actually good if you can purchase the book, you can purchase from I think nowadays by Bhikkhu Bodhi also, or the new publication by one of the what's his name? I forget the name already. You can get one book here, Dika Nikaya, Majjhima Nikaya, Samyutta, Anguttara, yes. So all these are one book, two book, three book, four books. So you can get 4 books. You can purchase online. All right. So it's better have some we call it tip taka around you. Try to get you can buy from Amazon if you want the second hand wisdom publication. Because the original one will be about 300, 400 per book, I think. So second hand may be cheaper. Or you can download from internet, but it's not good just learn from internet, because when you learn from internet, the disadvantage is for example you type the Sutanet, you can get from internet, but you cannot write on it. You cannot make your own notes, You can go to internet, you can find long length, middle length, like this. Just now the sutta, some are from middle length, some are from the link discourse, samyutta, and gadget saying or numerate discourse, this one. Yes, you can get from internet. Like Sujato, yeah, he I think in Malaysia they also start to distribute the book finish already, no more already. Okay, so yes, you can get from this, you can download, you can buy, you can get PDF, but the disadvantage is you cannot write, and it's difficult to print by yourself, because when you print it will not be so nice. You can read on internet also. Okay, so you just click like this, click like this. So I really hope you all can buy, can buy the book. Don't just use your eyes, look at the computer. Okay, now, so we go back to this. So this is on internet because it's easy for me. Okay, let's read. Ivy, you can read, yes.
Mango Stone, translated from Pali by Thanisaro Bhikkhu 2006. I have heard that on one occasion the Blessed One was staying near Rajagaha at the bamboo grove, the squirrel feeding ground. At that time, Venerable Rahula was staying at the mango stone. Then the Blessed One, arising from his seclusion in the late afternoon, went to where Venerable Rahula was staying at the mango stone. Venerable Rahula saw him coming from afar, and on seeing him, set out a seat and water for washing the feet. The Blessed One sat down on the seat, set out, and having sat down, washed his feet. Venerable Rahula, bowing down to the Blessed One, sat to one side. Then the Blessed One had left a little bit of water in the water dipper, say to Venerable Rahula, do you see this little bit of leftover water remaining in the water dipper? Yes, sir. That's how little of the contemplative there is in everyone who feels no shame at telling a deliberate lie.
Okay, thank you. So the background story is thus I heard means said by the Venerable Ananda. So Buddha was at this place, met a mango stone. So it's why they wash the feet because they are most people at that time they are wearing the sandals. So the feet tend to get dirty because of the dust. And that's a culture also, right? But now yeah, of course, if you go to Myanmar also, you will see like this. Yeah, because when you walk outside, come in the Dharma hall, your feet will be dirty. Or this is actually just to pay respect to the Buddha and to take care of him. And then remember now, Rahula is still young. Okay, Rahula not yet 18 years old, because this sutta is given teach to him when he was a young boy. So that's why the Buddha is using the simile to explain to the young boy. So he using the after wash the feet, so there's left little bit water in the water kind of like container or basin in a basin. So he said, okay, little bit water like those people who telling lies. So they only left little bit quality. So we can say maybe refer to the quality of their morality or maybe to their spiritual life, just to remind Rahula that if telling lies, even though it's a small thing, to a lot of people it might be small mistake or small bad things, but it's actually considered in terms of spiritual, that person is only has little bit value only. Okay. Okay, then after that, okay, next person. Viria, yes.
Having tossed away the little bit of leftover water, the Blessed One said to Venerable Rahula, Rahula, do you see how this little bit of leftover water is tossed away? Yes, sir. Rahula, whatever there is of the contemplative in anyone who feels no shame at telling a deliberate lie is tossed away just like that. Having turned the water dipper upside down, the Blessed One said to Venerable Rahula, Rahula, do you see how this water dipper is turned upside down? Yes, sir. Rahula, whatever there is of a contemplative in anyone who feels no shame at telling a deliberate lie is turned upside down just like that. Having turned the water dipper right side up, the Blessed One said to Venerable Rahula, Rahula, do you see how empty and hollow this water dipper is? Yes, sir. Rahula, whatever there is of a contemplative in anyone who feels no shame at telling a deliberate lie is empty and hollow, just like that.
Okay, thank you. So it's just trying to tell a small child, compare first, after wash the feet, the water little bit, okay? Then throw away the water. So that water also a little bit. Then after that, turn upside down the water dipper, kind of like water basin. So it's also a little bit. And then after that, show the uh, right up. So it show that inside is just hollow, empty. Okay, so this is the way the Buddha teach to Rahula, because Rahula was still young at that time. Just show that everything is empty, or little bit. Okay, okay. Rahula, whatever there is of the contemplative in anyone who feel no shame at telling that deliberate lie. Okay, so means deliberate lie means purposely telling lies with intention. Okay, that's the thing. No. That's the next is normally in any sutta you'll find that then the Buddha will give some simile. In most of sutta, the Buddha will give some simile like this. Okay, at this point, simile. Okay. Next person. Call him sick. Yes. Yeah. Can you hear you? Yes.
Okay. Rahula, it's like a royal elephant, immense pedigree, accustomed into battles. its tusks like chariot poles. Having gone into battle, it uses its 4 feet and hind feet, its hind quarters, its head and ears, and tusks and tail, but keeps protecting its trunk. The elephant trainer notices that and thinks the royal elephant has not given up its life to the king. But when the royal elephant, having gone into battle, uses its 4 feet and hind feet, its forequarters and hindquarters, its head and ears and tusks and tails, and his trunk, the trainer notices that and thinks the royal elephant has given up its life to its king. There is nothing it will not do. In the same way, Rahula, when anyone feels no shame in telling a deliberate lie, there is no evil. I tell you, he will not do. Thus, Rahula, you should train yourself. I will not tell a deliberate lie even in jest.
Okay, thank you. All right. So now, normally when the Buddha makes some point, then they will simulate like this using the elephant. Because Lahura is a loyal prince, so he saw elephant before. Okay, so elephant when they're going to fight, they will use all part of body, but keep protect its trunk because the trunk is the most important thing. Because if it lost the trunk, so it cannot eat, cannot get hold of things. So the trunk of the elephant is very strong. It can get hold of things. It can use it to drink, also to eat. Right. But if he say if the royal elephant use everything included trunk, then he said this royal elephant has given up his life to the king. There is nothing it will not do. Okay. Now this simile I actually don't really understand because I'm not very familiar with the elephant's behavior. But what we say that is it is part, okay? There is no evil he will not do. When somebody feel no shame in telling deliberate lie, there is no evil that he will not do. So in Pali, we have a lot of this kind of double negative. No evil he will not do. What's the meaning of that? Okay. No evil he will not do. Okay. In Pali, we have a lot of double negative. No and no. So this means that he will do evil. All right. So Pali is always have that double negative. So if people no shame, they tell lies. That means that they're telling lies all the time or willing to tell lies. So he will do evil. That's the meaning. And why is it telling lies is considered important? Because telling lies is among the five precepts. You can say to kill somebody, you need to have make effort, right? To steal something, you also need to make effort. But telling lie is very much more easy because it's just like verbal. You say something wrong, that's verbal. So it is I would say it's one of the easiest one to do. Like killing or stealing, you need bodily energy. But telling lie is just verbal. You just say something. So actually, it's very easy to do. So if somebody start to tell lies, deliberate lie means purposely telling lie, then from that starting point, he will break the precept or he will do more unwholesome thing. Okay, you all follow this idea? Okay, understand? Do you follow this idea or not? I see all your face look blur blur one. Do you understand what I say? Telling lies is easier compared to kill somebody. All right, compared to steal somebody is you need the bodily energy, but telling lies is easy. So once you tell no shame in telling the lie, from that starting point, he will do more evil things. That's the meaning. All right, okay. So that's why he's actually the Buddha is telling Rahula, you should have very good morality, including don't tell any lies. So he say, I will not tell a deliberate lie even in jest. Even like telling a jokes. Telling a jokes also don't tell lie. And that's the meaning. Okay. Yeah. So that's including like we call it the white lie, the including like we say the criteria because he is a monk. He was a novice or at the time maybe quite young already as a monk or young novice. So even white lie, the Buddha say even like white lie or half black lie, sometimes you got lie become like gray lie or so whatever. So try not to that even like tell lie in a jest. Just like you make a jokes, okay? Or you say, oh, he's a stupid, but he's not stupid. That kind of jest. Yeah, that's the thing. Okay, now from this point, the Buddha used another simile. So just now, the Buddha using the simile of water, washing the feet, water in the dipper. Now the Buddha using the mirror simile. Okay, it's because Rahula is still young, so the Buddha is telling him with many simile. So this called skillful means. If you want to tell children, you should use different example. Yeah. Jackie say. Yes.
What do you think, Rahula? What is a mirror for? For reflection, sir. In the same way, Rahula, bodily actions, verbal actions, and mental actions are to be done with repeated reflection. Whenever you want to do a bodily action, you should reflect on it. This bodily action I want to do, would it lead to self-affliction, to the affliction of others, or to both? Would it be an unskillful bodily action with painful consequences, painful results? If on reflection you know that it will lead to self-affliction, to the affliction of others, or to both, it would be unskillful bodily action with painful consequences, painful results. Then any bodily action of that sort is absolutely unfit for you to do. But if on reflection you know that it would not cause affliction, it would be a skillful bodily action with pleasant consequences, pleasant results. Then any bodily action of that sort is fit for you to do. This,
Okay. So continue. Yes.
while you are doing a bodily action, you should reflect on it. This bodily action I am doing, is it leading to self-affliction, to the affliction of others, or to both? Is it an unskillful bodily action with painful consequences, painful results? If on reflection you know that it is leading to self-affliction, to the affliction of others, or to both, you should give it up. But if on reflection you know that it is not, you may continue with it. Having done a bodily action, you should reflect on it. This bodily action I have done, did it lead to self-affliction, to the affliction of others, or to both? Was it an unskillful bodily action with painful consequences, painful results?
Okay.
Stop here. Yeah?
So
Oh, thank you.
okay, thank you. So we can see the Buddha using the example of simile of mirror. So why do we use mirror? Because we want to see ourselves for reflection. So here it's talking about three ways: body, speech, and mind. All right, bodily, verbally, mental. So should done with repeated reflection. Whatever you want to do, you should reflect. So that is causing that. That's mean that we need to have uh so any action require body, speech, and mind. So you should do reflect. Reflect means think with mindfulness, and wisdom, right? So before you do something, body, speech, and mind, you should think that is it this action good or not? How should I do? Now we can see here the criteria is how do you know the action is good? How do you know the action is bad? By this, okay? So if you do something that okay, how do you know it's a bad action? So just put like this or not. Okay, so we call it bad action. So when it leads to harming ourselves, harming others, or both, okay, and give painful result. So this is a criteria. So when you do something, it's bad for yourself, or you harm yourself, it harm other people, and it harm both of us, and it give bad result. So it means that when like killing is you harming others, okay, and it also you harm yourself because you will lead to it be in prison and give bad result. So bad result means you will be captured in the future like this. So it consider bad action. So that's the thing here. And also that's why when you leave, you need to reflect again, like see yourself in the mirror, reflect again. Is this action good? Is it as in bad? And you say, here you can see the criteria when you want to do, right? So before you do, and while you are doing, and after you do. So three way, right? Three times. So we can see when should we reflect it, right? So before here, or want to do. Want to do means before. So before the action. Or middle of doing. Middle of doing, okay. And having done. So means before, middle, and future, right? So you need to reflect in this is required three times. Three times. Before, middle, and future, right? So having done means future. So we need to reflect any action we done, not only now, also before we want to do. Is it this action good? So if this action good or not good? If the action bad, you should not do. When you're middle of doing, you also should reflect. After you're doing, you also should reflect. Okay? So that's the three times here. So it's actually, if even though teach Rahula, but the Buddha explained very clearly here, right? So if you want to doing, sometimes when you read the text, it look like why they keep on repeating a lot of things, The whole paragraph is quite same, except one is one is you are doing, and after doing. Okay. And not yet finished, so this one. Next. Brother Michael, yes.
If on reflection, you know that it leads to self-affliction, to the afflictions of others, or to both, it was unskillful bodily action with painful consequences, painful results, then you should confess it, review it, lay it open to the teacher or to the acknowledgeable companion in the holy life. Having confessed it, you should exercise restraint in the future. But if on reflection you know that it did not lead to affliction, it was skillfully bodily action with pleasant consequences, pleasant result, then you should stay mentally refreshed and joyful, training days and night in skillful mental qualities. Whenever you want to do a verbal action, you should reflect on it. This verbal action I want to do, will it lead to self-affliction, to the affliction to others, or to both? Would it be an unskillful verbal action with painful consequences, painful result? If on reflection, you should know that it would lead to self-affliction, to the affliction of others, or to both. it would be an unskillful verbal action with painful consequences, painful result. Then any verbal action of that sort is absolutely unfit for you to do. But But if on reflection you know that it will not cause affliction, it will be a skillful verbal action with pleasant consequences, pleasant result, then any verbal action of that sort is fit for you to do. While you are doing a verbal action, you should reflect on it. This verbal action I'm doing, it is leading to self-affliction, to the affliction of others, or to both. It is an unskillful verbal action with painful consequences, painful result. If on reflection you know that it is leading to self-affliction, to the affliction of others, or to both, you should give it up. But if on reflection you know that it is not, you may continue with it.
Okay, thank you. So let's see if somebody having done the bad action, he cannot stop it before he already do it while doing also bad action and after doing also bad action. So what should he do? He should confess, do confession to the teacher, right? To the teacher. Or to we call it Kayana Mita, a good person with good behavior. Right. So this one. So after confess it, he should exercise restraint. Exercise restraint means promise not to do it again. Okay. So first he should do the body speech and mind. So if he already do the bad action, so should confess, should do confession to teacher, okay, to the Buddha. Of course, if they're not Buddha, you can do to the Buddha statue, or to good companion. Means we call it good friend, we call it Kayana Mita, spiritual friend. Those who are wise, who can give you advice, okay? Not if you already do a problem, you go and confess to somebody unwise, then that person cannot give you good advice, you know. You have to confess to people who can give you good advice. They will tell you what should you do. And then after that, this is and then second one you should do is a restraint. Exercise restraint means should not do it. Okay, should not do in the future. All right. So that's the thing if done on the bad side. Now, on the good side, good action. What is the good action? Good action will be opposite of the bad action. All right. So it will not. Right. So we look at how it is say about good action. Skillful, not lead to affliction and give to pleasant result. Okay. Now, good action, bad action, opposite. Bad action lead to harming others. So good action will be opposite way. So okay, will not okay, or maybe not lead to harming others. Not to lead to harm others, and finally it will give good result, pleasant result. Okay. So good action, opposite bad action. Bad action harm others, harm ourselves, harm others, harm both, give bad result. So good action, not harming others, not harming ourselves, both, and give pleasant result. So every time we want to do good or bad, you have to think about that. Like giving loving kindness is considered as good, because opposite or not good means lead to we call it, or simply means benefits oneself, benefits others, or benefit both, give good result. This is the criteria of whether our action is good or bad. If it really give good result to us, give result good benefits to us, benefits to our others, both, and give pleasant results, so we consider a good action. It's opposite of bad action. And also we need to think about this to be done before you do anything. Okay. So by body, by speech and mind, we have to consider this, reflect again and again when you before you do, middle of doing, or after dying. Okay. I think it is quite clear already. Okay, next one. So the text are, at first when we read the text, it's very repeated, no? It's a lot of quite similar here and there, but actually it's quite same. So we finish this one. Then the rest are actually quite same, a lot of repetition. Okay, so after that, it will talk about the same thing. So from here onward is okay, verbal action. So same like bodily action, verbal action, you also need to check after that verbal action. And it's bad, you need to confess and so on. Right? Then after that, go for mental action. So three action, body, speech, and mind, and so on. So same mental, and so on. So 3 times before you want to do something, check your mental action. And middle of doing, check your mental action. And after doing, so this while doing or want to do, and after doing, all right. So even with the mental action, you need to check. So that is require a lot of mindfulness. Okay. And then the rest are quite same. And then for the good side is this one. So if you're on the reflection, it didn't lead to any affliction. It was a skillful mental action with pleasant consequences, pleasant result, then you should stay mentally refreshed. Okay. Now, if you know the action is good, we should do it all the time. Okay. Sorry. This is not actually very short, but actually very practical in our life. Right? Because every time we do, definitely have the body, speech, mind. By body, speech, and mind, we need to take action. So if we are doing good action, make sure it's lead to good result, and we should refresh it, and we should train day and night. Skillful things. Okay, now come to conclusion here. So we can see this is a summary here. Right? And this is a conclusion. Okay, Sister Chang, yes.
Rahula, all those Brahmins and contemplatives in the course of the past who purified their bodily actions, verbal actions, and mental actions did it through repeated reflection on their bodily actions, verbal actions, and mental actions in just this way. All those Brahmins and contemplatives in the course of the future who will purify their bodily actions, verbal actions, and mental actions will do it through repeated reflection on their bodily actions, verbal actions, and mental actions in just this way. All those Brahmins and contemplatives at present who purify their bodily actions, verbal actions, and mental actions do it through repeated reflection on their bodily actions, verbal actions, and mental actions in just this way. Thus, Rahula, you should train yourself. I will purify my bodily actions through repeated reflection. I will purify my verbal actions through repeated reflection. I will purify my mental actions through repeated reflection. That's how you should train yourself. Conclusion. This is what the Blessed One said. Gratified, Venerable Rahula delighted in the Blessed One's words.
Okay, so you can see at this, when Buddha preached about repeated reflection on the present, past, or future, our body, speech, and mind. So 3 action: body, verbal, actions. So whatever action we do, it to the 3 doors in Abhidhamma: body door, verbal door, and mental door. So we have to repeat, reflect whether it's good for us, good for others, or have good result, and so on. And then And at the end, Rahula is not enlightened yet. You can see he just delighted only. So the Rahula rejoiced. It didn't mention he's enlightened because at that time he's still young. So after to listen to this sutta, he continued until age of 18 when he saw the Buddha body, and then he was having conceit over the body. So that was another sutta. So this sutta is very simple and it's very useful to teach the children. And also even for children, even for adult, also very beneficial. Because every time people ask, what should we practice? We should practice with mindfulness on our body and speech, body, speech, and mind, repeatedly with mindfulness and reflection. Before we do it, middle doing, or after doing, is it the action good for us or bad for us? So if it's good for us, good for others, good for both of us, and give good result, then we should do. For example, things like generosity. Okay, let's say for example generosity. Generosity is good for you because it reduce your stinginess. It's good for others because it help others and benefits for both of us, like both. And it gives good result. So people are generous, the result will be they're born as in a wealthy family, you know, in the future. Okay. So we can think about this action. So for example, bad action like killing or stealing. Yeah. Stealing means when somebody is stealing, what is the bad action? So the person will worry, okay, I will be worried, I will be found out, right? I will be discovered. So they are worried. And then others lost properties. Okay. And painful result means stealing means bad result means he will be poor in the future. Okay, so we need to consider our action, body, speech, and mind, right? This. So this sutta actually is quite easy to use. Okay. It's very helpful for us in our life. And but when we read the sutta, it's not easy to read because it's a lot of repetition and need to read carefully the English translation. All right. So I think today we just maybe we can do more Dharma discussion. So instead of I give you more sutta. So today is rest time, no homework for you all this week. But if you're interested, you can write yourself some summary and send to me. Okay. So we can do some uh some maybe just some chit chat before we close this session. So I will stop the recording here.